heading into overtime on 1620 The Zone. Shock the system. Welcome to the After Hours Lounge on 1620 The Zone, the 1620 The Zone app, and 1620thezone.com. When 6A to 6P isn't enough, the boys have you covered. Here's Jimmy Allen
and John Schreiner.
Jimmy's still not back. Can you believe that? You should be able to believe it. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the After Hours Lounge. John Schreiner, Dan Campanen along with you. Hope you're enjoying your Wednesday. It is Wednesday, right? I think so. Yeah.
You got that right.
All right. Good. You're enjoying your rainy Wednesday. A little thunderstorm pop there. We start the show with weather talk because this is Nebraska and that's what we do. Most interesting subject is always the weather. I want to remind you that we are brought to you by Bellevue University. Bellevue University is the place for you to get a great educational experience. They have accelerated degree programs. You can do it online. You can do it in purpose, and you don't even have to go to school on Fridays. If you got questions, check out bellevue.edu for more answers. Got a good show for you lined up here today. We're going to start off talking about some unrest in the ACC as my favorite topic. Conference realignment swirls around.
Yay.
We've got a Who Wants the Smoke coming at you. Just a warning. We're going into the world of soccer for this one. Dan and I are going to discuss the PGA Championship, which starts tomorrow at Valhalla. That's at 6:30. We got a social media soundbite, a buy or sell segment to kick off the second hour. We will talk a little bit of some NFL schedule stuff. Not just going to run down the schedule for each team and break it down because that's boring. But I do have some thoughts about some of the releases that we've seen so far and just the schedule release as a whole. We'll do that at 7:30, and then at 7:45, we'll wrap things up, get you out of here with our bets of the day. But as I mentioned, we begin in the world of college athletics and the unrest that seems to be brewing in the ACC. They had their spring meetings on Monday, the ACC, the Athletic Coast Conference, which is becoming less, or the Atlantic Coast Conference, rather. It's becoming less Atlantic and less coastal every day. And one of the big silences at the spring meetings for the ACC was the lawsuit that Clemson and Florida State have put forth to challenge the fees to exit the conference. A lot of the quotes from the meetings from Florida State Athletic Director Michael Alford and the ACC Commissioner Jim Phillips were deflective in nature. Phillips said that it's difficult, disruptive, and harmful, but that it hasn't changed how they're interacting. He said everyone needs to just remain professional, and they're not discussing it because of the lawsuits that are still open. And Clemson Athletic Director Graham Neff did not speak to the media. But Florida State Athletic Director Michael Alford did commend Jim Phillips for his professionalism. But Phillips says he's optimistic. Says he doesn't know where it's going to go, but ultimately he thinks that there's a good ending in sight. He's looking to protect the ACC and protect the conference because I think he understands that if those two teams leave, the conference itself is in big trouble. But there's some new revelations that have been reported after a Board of Trustees meeting at North Carolina, which took place on Monday. Some independent evaluators, by the way, have given UNC the tag of most valuable university not in the Big Ten or SEC.
That is believable.
Yeah.
I mean, simply just due to the fact that their merch sales are still, off the charts compared to their competitors.
Sure.
Where you will get the flash in the pan when it comes to a Clemson. I'm actually a little bit surprised that Florida State isn't more popular, but the fact that you can go down the road to 168th and Dodge and walk into Shields, and there is
Carolina
a
gear,
large selection of Carolina gear that you can find there, from Jordan Brand all the way down to your regular Nike, all the way to, hats and gloves and pants and shirts. It surprises me none that UNC is the most popular. Also, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Still pushing the needle.
Yep. But the details of that meeting from Monday's Board of Trustees meeting in North Carolina was illuminating for a couple of reasons. There was a trustee in the meeting who accused the athletic director, whose name is fittingly Bubba Cunningham, of mismanaging assets. And multiple trustees during the meeting raised concerns about how the athletic department is going to meet its obligations in terms of budgetary responsibilities in the coming years, which is a little bit alarming, right? When you juxtapose those two things, that this is the school that has been deemed to be the highest value university outside of the Big Ten or SEC, and they are struggling to figure out how they're going to meet their responsibilities to maintain an athletic department. They're planning for major deficits in the coming years in their athletics budget. And they currently have no plans to address it or any idea how to make up the deficit. That tells you something, that the ball is probably rolling for them to start figuring out a way to make more money. And how do you make more money if you're North Carolina? You join the Big Ten or the SEC.
Yes.
Now, they have not been as aggressive in litigations as Florida State and Clemson have been, but it doesn't take too much to read into this that the only way for North Carolina to make up these budget shortfalls, there are two real ways. Either you get massive donations from boosters or, philanthropic entities or whatever it may be who want to support the athletic program, or you join a league where the media rights deal is enough to cover you. Florida State has already said that they're planning to potentially fall behind some of their peers in the Big Ten and SEC by as much as $40 million a year by 2030. And that is directly related to the amount of money that the Big Ten and SEC are going to make in media rights versus what Florida State is going to make as part of the ACC. And that is a direct correlation to the lawsuit that they have to try and get out of the ACC. Because Florida State and Clemson believe that the SEC or perhaps the Big Ten will just open their arms and bring them in with a big hug. Is that the truth? I don't know. I don't know. Because the sizes of these conferences now at 18 schools, it's becoming unwieldy. And I think schools like Florida State, Clemson, and probably sooner than later North Carolina need to be very careful. Because if you get out of your grant of rights and then you don't actually have a place to go, you go from being $40 million behind your peers to hundreds of millions of dollars behind your peers.
Yeah.
You can't do an independent thing like Notre Dame does. Notre Dame's a different animal. I don't care if you are North Carolina, Florida State, or Clemson. But the North Carolina thing is really interesting because we've heard the rumors about the SEC vetting Kansas for potential membership. Would North Carolina be a logical next step? And then the SEC becomes the basketball super conference as well as the football super conference?
I don't think they become the basketball super conference.
You don't?
If you just roll in North Carolina
and Kansas?
I'm still on the Big East bandwagon for that. I think that the quality of play that we're getting now, numbers wise, monetarily, you're definitely the superpower. You definitely at that point would have the rights to say, hey, we are the greatest and we have probably 5 or 6 of the best teams in the country.
You would have most of the big brands as far as basketball is concerned. I don't know, man. This is all getting really weird in a hurry. And we talked yesterday about teams moving up from the FBS level to get in to, or from the FCS level to the FBS to get in on the football money and get in to that pool before closing time. And now to hear that North Carolina is worried about budget deficits within their athletic department and that things are accelerating with Florida State and Clemson and their want to exit. This is, I mean, this carousel's not going to stop spinning, folks. It's going to keep rolling and it's going to keep getting weirder. Right? Because like Florida State and Clemson, you're not challenging a grant of rights document in court that is only set to expire in 2036 if you're thinking about staying until 2036. You're not challenging that just so you can know. You're challenging it because you want out. And I've long thought that if Florida State and Clemson go, the ACC would be on life support. And if North Carolina's out as well, shut the lights off on your way out. Weird times in the world of college sports.
Yeah, the way that this all has started to shake out and all of the pontificating that we've had on this subject in the last couple of months is kind of head spinning because it seems like every day there comes a new report that's, oh, well, this team is going over here. This team is going over here. This league isn't, or this conference is interested in these 5 teams. This team wants to apply to this conference. So it seems at this point that we're just inching ever closer to what we always have said and assumed was going to happen, which is just 2 conferences, probably split.
Maybe 0 conferences.
Maybe. But
conferences might be a relic of the past in the very near future.
If we do only have 2, I guarantee you that they get split up into north, south, east, and west.
Big Ten gets the north teams, SEC gets the south teams.
Yeah, do SEC East, SEC South, Do Big Ten North and Big Ten West.
Yeah, I don't know. Projecting the future for this whole thing, it gets really difficult in a hurry because it always seems like there's something over the horizon that we don't quite know about yet. It looks like there's a major seed change coming. It's starting to feel like everything is becoming untenable. It's starting to feel like fewer and fewer schools who are outside of the Big Ten and SEC are happy with their situation. They're seeing the grass much greener on the other side of the fence.
Well, with the way that the Pac-10, or I guess, is it Pac-12? Was it Pac-12?
It was Pac-12. Now it's the
Yeah.
Pac-2.
So when we saw the Pac-12 crumble, and it almost seemed like in the blink of an eye, I mean, 2-3 years.
Yeah, it went down quick.
That it just crumbled. That it worries me that the ACC didn't see that happen and say, okay, we need to shore up some sort of media rights deal so that we can get this all figured out, because if we're going to have budget shortfalls.
Listen, they tried, man. They tried. But the problem with the ACC is the football brands in that conference. You've only got really like 2.5 football teams that anyone cares about in the ACC. Florida State, Clemson, and North Carolina occasionally.
Isn't Miami an ACC school?
Yeah, but what's Miami? Miami's got a very fickle fan base.
Well,
Virginia Tech is a small community. Virginia's a basketball school. Duke's a basketball school. Georgia Tech's a private school that has again a very small community. North Carolina State, their little brother. Like, who is the big football brand there? It's Florida State and it's Clemson. It's sometimes North Carolina.
Yeah. I always think it's unfair that for certain conferences, specifically the ACC, and I know you're going to have pushback on this, but let me get it all out.
All right.
Because
say your piece, Dan.
It's fairly obvious what the pushback is, and I even can tell it to you right after I finish. We put so much weight on the sport of football in these media rights deals where we can't just say, hey, give us a media rights deal, put us on television. Our football, not going to bring in a lot of people to watch, not going to bring in a lot of money. But you know what will bring in a lot of money? All of our basketball. Because we have some of the best legacy brands in all of basketball.
Nationally relevant, for sure.
Yeah. So that's what I don't understand, is how they're divvying this up. And if it only has to do with football, I can understand that. But if it's a media rights deal across all sports, then just help a brother out a little bit.
Yeah.
Understand that you're going to take a little bit of a hit during football season, and then you're going to have a huge blast off during basketball.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thought of maybe packaging all of your media rights for all sports into one big bucket. The question is, would there be a network out there that would be willing to pay for all of it all at once? Because, I mean, the way things are now, even like the football rights get divided amongst 2 or 3 networks, right? And the basketball rights get divided amongst 2 or 3, because the cost of asking for an exclusive set of rights is astronomical now. And the cost of asking for a combination of all the football rights and all the basketball rights, I don't even want to know what that, I mean, we're talking hundreds of billions of dollars or somewhere in that neighborhood is what a conference would probably want for that.
I mean, to be fair, if ESPN didn't shoot themselves in the foot with providing the ACC network and making it an unwatchable product, and then offering a single school their own product within their family of networks.
Longhorn Network.
And that was a whole nother boondoggle in and of itself. But The fact that you kind of shot yourself in the foot with both of those kind of ideas that you seemed to have that you thought were going to be good would have made more sense if you would have just said, you know what? Are you cool with just being on ESPN Plus? Put
They're not.
all of our basketball games and all of our football games on ESPN Plus all season.
But they're not.
I don't know
they're
why
not cool with
I
it.
don't know why you wouldn't be cool with it.
Because
If they're willing to pay the price, of course.
most, and I don't know if this is exactly true, but this is it's sort of half guess, half understanding. Most of the stuff that's on ESPN Plus, outside of like UFC and different things like that, a lot of the things that are on ESPN Plus are things that are self-produced by schools from smaller colleges that they give to ESPN to get it on a network. A lot of ESPN Plus content, ESPN doesn't actually pay very much for. Probably a lot of it.
Okay.
The rights deals for some of those small conferences are small. Like when you see an ESPN Plus broadcast of the Mountain West basketball, what are they honestly getting for that? Not much, if anything. The announcers for those things and the crews are all in the locality where that school is. It's a local crew, it's a local announcing team, and they are the ESPN Plus announcers for that school. And that's all they do. Like that's their gig.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough.
So like putting ACC stuff, and there is some ACC stuff that goes on ESPN Plus. There is.
Yeah. I mean, there's a ton of big name schools that play on ESPN Plus too. Like Texas A&M. I remember I watched a couple of their football games on ESPN Plus this past year.
But I think to just take all of ACC sports and putting them on ESPN Plus, I don't think they'd be happy with that. The necessity of creating a separate network was there. Now, it did not have near the success. Like the Big Ten network has been a wild success, like by every metric. It's bigger and better in the things that it's doing than the SEC network. It is a more fully fledged, serious, real network operation than any of the other conference networks, as far as I'm concerned. It has its own space in the world. The ACC network, the SEC network, they just kind of feel like they're little ESPN properties that they put a different sticker over. Right? I mean, does it not feel like that?
A little bit. So my biggest thing, if you want to go down that route, is that the Big Ten network, when they came up with that idea, I know people were like,
this isn't going to, what are they going to put on at 11 o'clock at night?
What are we going to do? How's this going to work? And to their credit, they have done the right things with it. They have said, all right, you know what we're going to do? This square box that we have, we can open up the top of it and we can peek out whenever we want to and steal things from other people. You know what people like? Studio shows. We're going to have studio shows for all of our content. We have a women's basketball game playing on. Guess what? You're going to get to watch Minnesota and, I don't know, Rutgers or Maryland playing each other in a women's basketball game. And then guess what? We're going to transition in 30 minutes over to Minnesota and Michigan hockey.
More than any of that, Dan, the thing that the Big Ten Network did was they made sure that they were on everywhere in the country, regardless if it was in or out of the Big Ten footprint. They made it a national network. Good luck. Well, you can't now probably, but try to find the Pac-12 network in Nebraska. Good freaking luck. If there's a game on Pac-12 network, sorry, you're probably not going to be able to watch it. ACC network, like it's kind of just like jammed into the ESPN family, right?
Yeah.
SEC network also shoehorned into ESPN.
I mean, a little bit. The SEC network is still a little bit more like
It has a little more
fleshed
meat
out-
on the bones. Yeah.
fleshed out a little bit more. And I will say hats off there. That's pretty much all I would say Paul Feinbaum's doing with him being like, no, we need to have a network for this because people care about sports in the South. And then if you've ever looked at their viewership numbers that they actually have across their network, it is football season. And then about halfway through basketball season, it just goes way down into the dumper.
Yep.
And then jumps back up a little bit for baseball season.
I mean,
That is where they throw all their baseball games.
all these things are on the table. I mean, what happens to Big Ten Network if there's a split, if football breaks away? Like, what happens to all these over-the-top networks? I mean, there are a lot of questions to answer and very few of the actual answers. But all this stuff is very interesting. I think UNC is a school to keep an eye on and see what moves they're making, because they're, from their own projections, they're expecting to have some money problems coming in the very near future. And you know what that means. That means movement more often than not. So it's a constantly changing landscape and something we'll have to keep an eye on. But I find it all tremendously interesting. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, it's time to find out who wants the smoke today. We're going to the world of soccer for this one. It's After Hours on a Wednesday, 1620 The Zone. Hey, everybody, it's John Schreiner here for Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. Storms in the area today, but if you look at the weather for the weekend, we're looking at highs around 80, bright sunshine. And if you know me, you know what I'm talking about here. That is golf weather, my friends. And golf season is here. If your swing's not in shape, make sure your wardrobe is. Because when you look good, you feel good. Maybe you can play good. And you can definitely look good if you go get some gear from Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear, 78th and Dodge, Mizzen and Main, Johnny O, Cutter and Buck, all the best when it comes to your golf polos. And if you're a Creighton fan, you can pick up some Creighton gear while you're there too. Check them out, Jerry Ryan, 78th and Dodge. They've been dressing Omaha for 50 years.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
A flash flood warning early this evening as torrential rain came down, 1 to 3 inches of rain across parts of the Omaha metro. Later tonight, skies clear up, low temperature drop back in the lower 50s, and a beautiful sunny day on the way for Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
University Bruins could be the right fit for you. Whether on the court or on the field, track or course, our student athletes strive and succeed. This year, Bellevue teams and individuals have combined to win 11 conference championships, with 8 teams qualifying for their national tournaments. Plus, nearly 50 student athletes were also named to all conference teams. Find out more about our tradition of excellence at BUBruins.com.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Roofing. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Roofing come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less. When you think Caddyshack, you think about an unforgettable dining experience. Stop in for Meatloaf Monday for just $10.95. Tuesdays are all about the happy with dollar drinks during all-day happy hour. Celebrate a Wing Wednesday with After Hours. Thursday is Spaghetti Night for $10.95 a plate. Or grab some lunch on Fridays with the $12.95 hot beef sandwich. Caddyshack. 2 great locations off of 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. The official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait. Make a lasting impact today.
Are you dreaming of your business dominating local Google searches, drawing in customers effortlessly? Look no further. I'm Courtney, the Google gal from Pixel Fire Marketing. Need assistance with your Google business profile? From verification to boosting reviews, fixing maps to tackling annoying Google calls? I've got you covered. Your profile sets you apart and ensures you're the top choice for local customers. Visit fixmygbp.com for our $99 special offer. Click fixmygbp.com for more details.
You are listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
All right, happy Wednesday, everybody. It's the After Hours radio program. Jimmy Allen's out this week, so you get me. Dan Campenon's here too. And at this time, every night we do Who Wants the Smoke? And who wants the smoke today? His name is Giovanni Reyna. Or Gio. To the uninitiated, Giovanni Reyna is an American soccer player who has been plying his trade in Germany for Borussia Dortmund, or Borussia Dortmund, if you're from the Midwest. He was loaned to the English club Nottingham Forest this season because he was not getting first-team minutes with Dortmund. And at times, Gio Reyna has looked like a prodigy. He's looked like the next great American and a running mate for Christian Pulisic to take the U.S. men's national team to that next level. His dad was captain of the U.S. men's national team, Claudio Reyna, in the late 90s, early 2000s. He was, I believe, the first American to ever be captain for a European club. He was at Wolfsburg or Wolfsburg. And Gio has at times looked really good. He's shown a lot of promise. But injuries have caused the patience for his parent club, Dortmund, to wane a bit. So they let him go out on loan in a quest to get him some more playing time, which heavily rumored to be maybe pushed through by his father. His dad was pushing hard for him to go play in England. And it's been nothing short of a huge, embarrassing failure, this move to Nottingham. He barely played for a team that was struggling to avoid relegation because his manager preferred players who had played in the Premier League before, and Gio was not adjusting to life in the best league in the world so well. And his dad, through the years, hasn't done him any favors, right? Like there was a huge falling out with Greg Berhalter at the World Cup because Gio was, from all reports, being a baby.
Yeah.
And his father tried to interfere and get Greg Berhalter fired for not playing his son.
Yeah. So this is where I should come out to you, John, and tell you, not a massive soccer fan.
Okay.
I know enough about soccer to seem like I'm cultured in front of people who do not watch any soccer whatsoever. But the only times I have heard Gio Reyna's name is in probably the most negative of lights.
Yeah, so he's looked good at times, like playing for the US. He did really well at the Copa America. And there's a lot of hope that he can recapture some of that magic at the Copa this summer. But the signs are pointing in the wrong direction for Gio Reyna. Nottingham Forest, which managed to avoid relegation unless they get absolutely blasted on the final day. I mean, they're going to have to lose by a ton of goals to get relegated. They don't want him. They're sending him back to Germany, to Dortmund.
Mm-hmm.
And Dortmund is believed to be like out of patience with him. They're done waiting for him to grow up and be the player that they want him to be. He signed an extension before he went on loan, but the first team minutes aren't just going to magically appear after he went to England and didn't play. This is a player that the U.S. was counting on to be a huge part of the evolution of the men's national team. And due to actions by his father, some unfortunate injuries, and his inability to grow up, it's looking like it might never happen. Gio Reyna may end up going down as the greatest thing that never was for U.S. men's soccer. And that's what it's looking like here as we come to the end of the season in the Premier League. It is terribly, terribly disappointing. Because when this kid was 17, 18 years old, getting first team minutes with Dortmund, it was so exciting. It looked like finally the U.S. had another international superstar to play alongside Christian Pulisic. He could play on the opposite wing. You could see them bombing up and down the field, creating havoc on the edges. And that promise has only been partially, if at all, fulfilled. So it's really saddening to see the way a young player's career can be so impacted. And to some degree, I mean, he's still young. There's still time to turn it around. But I just don't know if we've seen anything to make us believe that it will. And so it's very disappointing. For someone who cares a lot about American soccer and wants the U.S. to be good, I want to see the U.S. win a World Cup in my lifetime. I dearly want that to happen. And a player like Gio Reyna, the promise that he showed early on in his career, thought that maybe he could be a part of getting to that stage. And now after this disappointment of the season he's had at Forest, I don't know. It doesn't seem like it. And he's going to go back to Germany. And look, Marco Reus is leaving. Not going to play for Dortmund anymore. It's looking like a move to the MLS is likely for Reus. But there are two really good wingers already at Dortmund. One of them, Jadon Sancho, who is on loan from City. So we don't know. I mean, they're going to have to pay a lot to keep him, more than likely. But I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take for him to turn it around. But it seems like a lot. And I don't have a lot of faith that it's going to happen. And that's a little saddening. So, Gio Reyna wants the smoke, and he better want it. He's got to want it. Because he's a huge piece of what needs to happen for U.S. men's soccer. All right, let's take a break, Dan. We got to get to our discussion about the PGA Championship.
Yes, we do.
I know you're into this.
Yes, I am.
I know you got takes on this one. Not so much on Gio Reyna, but I know you're in on golf. So we're going to go there next. PGA Championship starts tomorrow at Valhalla. Who do we think is going to win? Who do we think is not going to win? Talk about that next. It's After Hours. Hey, everybody. John here for 402 Barbecue. You love barbecue. You know you do. Come on. Stop denying it. Barbecue's great. And you know what? You need to get down to 3027 South 84th Street for great barbecue. They're open from 11 to 6, and you need to get yourself a Cadillac sandwich, brisket, pulled pork, and then the smoked mac and cheese on top. You smash that all down. You dip it in some of the great sauce that Kelly and the team have come up with. Oh, you're going to love it. It is so delicious. The brisket has that nice little smoke ring on it. The pulled pork is so juicy and tender. And then you add in the richness of that smoked mac and cheese. It is a flavor that you have to try to believe. And if you stop by and you tell them After Hours sent you, you're going to get yourself a free soda with the purchase. That's 402 Barbecue, 3027 South 84th Street. Go get in there and get yourself some lunch tomorrow.
The dream of playing the sport you love may be closer than you think. The Bellevue University Athletic Department proudly sports the best scholarship funding among NAIA programs in the state. To compete with the best, we need to recruit the best. All incoming freshmen earn a $5,000 scholarship when they enroll at Bellevue University. Learn more by looking us up at BUBruins.com and reach out to your future coach today.
Are you ready to elevate your taste buds? Look no further than Pepper Jacks, your go-to destination for bold flavors and endless choices. Dive into their mouth-watering rice bowls, crisp salads, hearty Phillies, savory burritos, and loaded nachos. What sets them apart? Complete customization. Choose your base, proteins, toppings, and sauces for a personalized culinary adventure. At Pepper Jacks, it's not just a meal, it's an experience. Unleash your cravings and savor the bold tastes at Pepper Jacks today. Life's too short for bland. Spice it up at Pepper Jacks.
Spring has sprung, so get to Jerry Ryan's and celebrate. They have polos, shorts, sport coats, and golf shirts. Regular fit and trim fit, they have it all. Jerry Ryan offers $50 off any purchase of $250 or more. Spend $500 and get $100 off. If you're hitting the summer golf fundraiser circuit, spend $1,000 and Jerry Ryan will take $200 off your total purchase. Get to 78th and Dodge and bring in spring.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Fresh air, softball, baseball, basketball, grilling burgers, and the warmth of the sun on your brand new deck. It's the finer things in life that make it enjoyable. Forsman's Finest Decks can come build you a deck, put a cover on it, and give your house that facelift that you and it deserves. Head over to forsmansfinest.com to have your dream experience this summer. Forsman's Finest Decks, building the finest decks in Omaha.
Henry Dorley Zoo has done it again, Omaha. Omaha Zoo isn't just #1 in your heart. It's also back to being ranked America's #1 zoo. Chesterman Coca-Cola and Hy-Vee are celebrating being #1 from April till May. Stop by any local Hy-Vee and get a 6-pack of your favorite Coke products in mini cans, just 3 for $11 from now through May 14th. Henry Dorley Zoo is #1, and you can be too with Chesterman Coca-Cola and Hy-Vee this April.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Welcome into the After Hours Lounge. Hope you're relaxing on a Wednesday night, enjoying the show. We're going some places we don't normally go on the After Hours radio program tonight, Dan.
Yes, we are.
We went into the world of, well, we do go conference realignment quite a bit, I would say.
Almost weekly at this point.
Yeah. But we went into the world of American soccer. Not a place we often go.
It is not.
And now we're going into a little bit of golf, which we only get to usually a little bit around the majors. We had a little bit of Masters talk.
Yeah.
It was brief.
It was very brief.
But
if
tomorrow,
you want to go look it up, you can.
You can.
You'll get to hear Dan's mental breakdown.
SoundCloud.com/afterhour1620. You can hear Dan disagree with me. And we get the second major starting tomorrow, PGA Championship. Is this the one everyone cares the least about?
Yes.
Yeah.
To be fair, yes,
it is.
As far as the major calendar goes, it sort of means nothing
Masters,
to the casual golf fan.
Masters is 1, British Open 2, or US Open 2.
So that changes depending upon
where the open is, yeah.
Whose book you're looking into. Because if you look at my book, I go Open over US Open any day.
Especially if it's at like St. Andrews.
Yeah, if it's at one of those like cool links courses where it's like, okay, if you're an inch in the rough, congratulations, you're not going to find your ball.
Here's a bunker. It's 11 feet deep.
Oh, so side note, that has been my like one bucket list trip
St. Andrews.
I've always wanted to take is St. Andrews, or literally just all of the tracks I could possibly hit in like England, Ireland, and Scotland, and just try. Because I know I'd go into a bunker and I'd be like, oh, that's just a wall in front of me.
I've played around in England and I've played around in Scotland. Not at famous courses, mind you. They're just like little local tracks.
Oh, yeah.
But those are things I wanted to do. Like my trio is England, Scotland, South Africa. Because South Africa's got a pretty good golf culture as well. So
they do.
I've got 2 of the 3.
Louis Oosthuizen.
Ernie Els.
I forget. Mr.
Charles Schwartzel.
Charles Schwartzel.
There's quite a few South Africans. Eric Van Rooyen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of South Africans on the tour. Most of them went to live. But we're talking about PGA Championship. It starts tomorrow at Valhalla, which I'm reading a little bit about this course. It seems like they're setting this thing up to be really difficult.
Yes, they've taken a lot of, I don't want to call them precautions, but they have upped the difficulty. A lot
long, narrow fairways.
Yeah, a lot of the members who have been so gracious to tweet out the tweaks that they were making, the week or two prior to it. They said by the end of last week, before all the talent was in town, to get their practice rounds in, they were like, they have literally taken this golf course from something that we can all casually play and have like a moderately difficult time.
Yeah.
And like do very well if you're very good at golf on, to something that even the best golfers in their club can barely play on now. They're like, it is impossible. There was a video of a guy dropping one of his golf balls just on the green, and it didn't stop for about 50 yards.
That's ridiculous.
He dropped it from waist height and it just rolled down the slope.
That's silly. But yeah, it figures to be a really tough course. And it's usually like, we don't usually talk about the PGA Championship being played on a very difficult track. It's usually like the US Open is the one that they usually set up to just be a medieval torture device, right? Like,
yes.
It's usually the US Open is the one where, like, if you can get under par, you've done something just amazing.
Yeah. And in general, it seems like whenever they play the US Open as well, if they don't make the course a medieval torture device, For some reason, the weather
The
cooperates.
weather will do that for
and
you.
just like creates havoc for them.
Yeah. Yeah. But I wanted to talk a little bit about in particular a couple of guys, well, 3 guys actually, who have interesting storylines coming into this one. And the top of that list is obviously Scotty Scheffler. Right?
Yeah, he's won everything else this year.
He's won everything. He looks like the freaking Terminator right now. Just nothing phases him. He goes out, eats up golf courses, chews up the field, and spits it out into a trophy. And I don't know. We haven't seen a dominant run like this for a golfer in a while.
Yeah, not in a hot minute. And especially, it'll be interesting specifically for him because of all the time that he's taken off after the Masters.
Yeah.
He's played
Got
in
a new baby.
He's played in a few tournaments here and there, but he's Jimmy Allen'd himself after the Masters and he's taken some time off.
I love it. And it's funny because so the quotes from Tiger Woods were interesting. I was reading this on ESPN. They asked Tiger Woods about, the field for the PGA Championship. We'll talk about Tiger a little bit later.
Okay.
But he said his quote about Scotty Scheffler, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was something to the effect of, if Scotty Scheffler goes out and putts poorly, he finishes in the top 10. If he putts decent, he wins. If he putts great, he runs away from the field. He's that good of an iron player. And so when they've set up this course to be so difficult and so narrow and so long, it would seem like the guys who are making those tremendous second and third shots are going to be the ones who are going to be in. It looks like they're setting this thing up to play right into Scheffler's hands.
So, and this is going to sound a little bit bullish because obviously he is a professional golfer.
Yeah.
I am Dan Campanen, not professional golfer. But in reality, they're not actually playing to Scotty Scheffler's strengths. You would think they would be, with it being so long and that second and third shot becoming the most important shots of your game. But if you've ever watched Scotty Scheffler play golf, he has one interesting quirk about him. He, a long time ago, said, "This is my swing. This is what I'm sticking with," which is wonderful for him. It obviously works, and he obviously can replicate it every single time oh so well. But off the drive, it rarely, but it still does, supply him with errant shots.
Mm.
So he has been slightly less accurate off the tee this year, in which anyone who's a real golf nerd out there is saying, well, that doesn't really matter. And it's true. It doesn't. But on a course that is going to be this narrow, you're going to have some issues off the tee if you're not able to keep it in the fairway for probably about 15 out of 18 holes.
Which brings us to the next person that I wanted to talk about. It's a guy who's won the last 2 events on tour. Is it Rory time again? Because with a course that's playing really long this week, Rory's number 1 on tour this year in driving distance, averaging over 320.
Yep.
Can he hold it together and hit those long first shots well enough to keep himself in contention for Sunday? I think that's the question everybody wants answered.
And especially after last weekend with his win at the Wells Fargo, he should be, in general, in playing shape, and he should be in the mindset to win a major. You wonder if some of the outside noise that he has been having recently will creep in on him.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff with
Just a tad.
the Live PGA. He's been in the middle of that firestorm.
Yeah, and they seem to be nearing a merger at some point. There's not to be overlooked the person that I assume that we're going to get to next at some point. Brooks Koepka is kind of
next. Yeah,
is kind of always a bit of a thorn in Rory's side, both physically within the golf game and mentally. There's something that happens to him when Brooks Koepka is around playing near him that he just kind of falls to shambles. And unfortunately for Rory, again, these have been rumors all throughout the week, and they do supply me with quite a bit of worry for where his mental state may be going into this, but he did just file for divorce, allegedly.
Allegedly. I hadn't seen that. So
yeah, there's been quite a bit of divorce talk this week because immediately after the news kind of seeped out and became alleged news that he's getting divorced, also didn't in his Wells Fargo speech didn't thank his wife at all on Mother's Day. So that got a little bit suspect. But then Brooks Koepka immediately posted a photo of Jenna Sims looking, Jenna Sims-esque and said, "Look at the wonderful mother of my children."
Yeah. As much as I hate to bring this personal stuff in, I mean, golf is such a mental sport. The mind has to be so focused to perform at that level in golf. It does make you wonder. I don't know. There's a third name, and you brought it up because he is the defending champ at the PGA, and he did just win an event on the Live Tour, and that's Brooks Koepka.
Do you want my short answer or my long answer?
Well, Brooks is such a polarizing figure. I mean, he had the big rivalry with Bryson DeChambeau, where they were throwing barbs at each other. This was, over the past couple of years.
Yeah, about 5 years ago, or maybe even about 6 years ago when it all started.
But it went on for a long time.
Yes, it did.
Where those two were actively hating on each other. It seems to have died down a lot since the Live Tour started. I don't know why or what precipitated the sort of end to the verbal jabs. Everybody's making lots of money now. I don't know.
Well, so this is why I love talking about this stuff, John, because I am an avid follower of golf Twitter, which, fun fact, golf Twitter is the exact opposite of Black Twitter. If Black Twitter is what makes culture, I think golf Twitter might be what ruins culture. But
golf Twitter is counterculture?
Maybe. Allegedly, what actually ended up going down in between Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau is that they had a private sit down, and allegedly they hashed out their issues
and squashed the beef.
Yeah, they basically just sat down and they, proverbially lit up cigars, poured up glasses of scotch, and said, "I don't like you because of this. I don't like you because of this. But guess what? We're both rich now." Ha, 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 ha.
Okay, but what do you think Brooks has a chance to repeat?
I don't.
I don't either. I think these Live players don't seem to show up at the majors very well.
Well, and that was the conversation during the Masters, because we saw those first 3 days, Bryson was on fire.
Yep.
And he was in contention and was far and away the favorite after about day 2 to pull out the win. And everyone was starting to pull their hair out a little bit and say, "Oh, one of the Live guys is going to do it." Day 3, it was, "Oh, well, he's maybe still got a shot. He's still up there in the top." Then day 4, he fell apart. Now,
Live only plays 3 rounds at their events.
They only play 3 rounds at their events.
Yep.
And that's what I was going to get to, is the fact that at some point, these Live guys are going to have to start probably playing a 4th round before the Live tournament, so that they can stay in that playing shape. Because if you've never played 4 consecutive days of 18-hole golf and try to play your best, it's not easy.
Well, didn't the Live players have petitioned to have their events moved to 72-hole format, right?
Yes, they have.
Because I think it's a direct result of their poor performances in majors.
Yes.
Which is really, that'll be really interesting to see where the Live guys finish in this one. Because by all accounts, it's going to be a very difficult course, and you got to play 4 rounds. So
yeah,
I'm with you. I think the chances of Koepka winning this thing are pretty low.
Now, I will say, out of all the Live guys who are coming to play this tournament, Koepka is probably my top guy. Not because he won last year, but because the PGA Championship always seems to play to his actual strengths.
Yeah.
Incredible accuracy off the tee. And from about 200 yards in, he is a laser. So if he can get it close on all of his second shots, he could probably make a good run at winning this thing. Now, I don't think he will, because there's a lot of external factors that, you know, you wonder if their hearts are in it anymore when it comes to this stuff.
They're making their money regardless.
Yeah. And it kind of, you know, just, I don't think it means as much to them because they say, okay, well, I've got guaranteed money on one side. I don't have guaranteed money on the other. What are we supposed to do here?
Yeah. And I guess the final question is, can Tiger finish a tournament? Will his body hold up? And will his play allow him to play 4 rounds of golf on a weekend?
He is plus 140 to make the cut. So, I mean, I'm just going to say it. If you want an easy bet right now, throw that plus 140 on there to make the cut.
It's interesting.
Now, when you say finish, do you mean win?
No.
Or actually make it through the full 72 holes?
Finish all 72.
Well, to be fair, he did it at the Masters.
He did it at the Masters.
And he seems to be in, you know, moderate playing shape right now.
He did not look good at the end of the Masters, though.
No, he did not.
He looked okay on day one, like not good by any stretch of the imagination. He looked okay on day one. He made the cut with his play on day 2. 3 and 4, not good.
No, not at all.
Not good at all.
The old Tiger that everyone wanted back probably died about 3 years
That
ago.
Tiger's not coming back.
Yeah.
Like the Tiger Woods era of golf is in effect over.
Yeah. There's a good chance
He's a sideshow at best now.
Okay, don't say that.
But
He's not a sideshow.
He's not going to win.
He's never going to be called a sideshow, though.
So
because
what would you call him?
As long as he's playing in a tournament, he is the show.
He's not the show because he's not winning. He's not in contention.
Let me tell you, there are very few people who are allowed to play in this tournament and who get invited to play in this tournament and who maybe opt in to play this tournament, who folks will drop anything to play a practice round with.
But that's the definition.
One of those people is Tiger Woods.
That's the definition of a sideshow, Dan. Someone who is not realistically going to compete for the title, but is there and will generate a lot of attention. He's not the show because he's not going to win the tournament. He's going to be an afterthought in the standings. But everyone's going to be paying attention to him. That's a sideshow. As much as you don't want to say it, as much as it hurts to admit, like that's what's going on here.
I can't say it.
I know you can't.
I can't say it.
I know.
All the time growing up, I was young enough to where Tiger Woods, to me, my entire life has been golf.
Absolutely.
Tiger Woods has always been and will always be golf.
Tiger Woods was the biggest story in the country when I was in high school. Like, regardless of sport, it was like Tiger Woods was the biggest sports star in my high school years. Jordan had retired. There was nobody in the NFL that was touching him. Nobody in the NBA. Like, Tiger Woods was number one. Those days are over, man. Tiger's a name. All right. Do you have anyone that we haven't talked about that might provide some interest for you? Anybody off the board?
Yes. The only couple people, and I'll make it really quick. Well, Does it really matter at this point? We've
Nope.
done 2 segments and it's 7:00.
Yep. We're crushing it.
So one of the dark horses to look at, I will always say, is Ludwig Arbeg.
Oh, he's down there.
He's one of those guys where no one will give him a chance. He's just, I mean, truly, he's a rookie on tour right now. And he's been putting on a show recently. It'll be interesting to see if this is his tournament where he can put it all together and maybe get his breakout. And then never look away from the man who should always be in orange. I know what you're thinking right now.
Yep.
It's not what you're thinking.
Oh.
It's Victor Hovland.
Okay.
He too went to Oklahoma State University and still lives in Stillwater.
All right.
But
Okay.
that man, when he can put it all together, is an absolute joy to watch on a golf course. He is one of the few people who, while he has been so quiet about his opinions on literally everything, he plays the game of golf with just such an air of joy within his heart, within his soul, and just on his face. And so I'd like to see him get another big tournament win. You know, he had the one a couple of years ago, but he's one of my dark horses who I always look out for.
I've only got one that I think you should pay attention to, because I don't think he gets a lot of attention, but he always seems to kind of be right there. And maybe he gets over the hump this time. He's just a steady Eddie, Colin Morikawa. Nobody really talks about him a lot.
Yep.
But he's always kind of just right there hanging around. He was that way in the Masters, right?
Yeah.
He was kind of behind that first pack after the first couple days. And then day 3 at the Masters, he made a big charge and he was right there at the end. I mean, Scheffler won it going away, but Morikawa, he didn't go away quietly. He played really well in that tournament. I think he's a name you got to watch out for. Maybe he doesn't win it, but I think he's going to be right there.
And you know what? If you're going out there either tonight, or very early tomorrow morning, and you're throwing down any sort of money on these guys, I would definitely throw Morikawa top 10.
Yeah.
Because he has played like a top 10 golfer all year. And again, I can't disagree with you whatsoever, John. He is just always so good. And he's one of those guys that if you follow, he will break your heart. Because he does that all the time, where it's like day 1 and day 2,
just good enough.
Plays pretty good. He plays pretty good. Day 3, it's like, well, how are you the second that you're in second place right now? You could actually go out there on Sunday and win this. And either someone else shows him up, or he has a Rory 2010 just spectacular meltdown where it's like everything that could happen or that could go wrong just goes wrong for him.
Yeah.
I watched him like 3 years ago. I think it was in the US Open. He was day 4. He was right in it. I think he was 1 stroke off the leader. And then in like 2 consecutive holes, I think he went double bogey and then single bogey. It was an absolute spectacular fall off. And then just from there, it was nothing, no work back. That's the only problem, is you can't work back from that in that big of a tournament.
Well, Frankie's in the stream giving us Pikachu graphics, so I don't know what that means. Probably means we should take a break. Probably means everyone's getting tired of our golf talk. We did a good long segment there on the PGA Championship. If you've got thoughts on the PGA Championship, we'll take your call, 402-951-1620. Dan and I like golf. We like talking about golf. We got some more things to talk about coming up. We got a social media soundbite. We got a buy or sell. And we got some NFL schedule talk to get to later in the show. Second hour of the After Hours program starts next.
Hey Hey everyone, Dan Campion here for Pepper Jack's Grill. It's late night, the workday's over, and you've got that craving that hits just about every night. Stop by Pepper Jack's and grab a steak rice bowl. I love mine with grilled onions, green peppers, and mushrooms. Really hungry? Make it a gunner and grab double meat. Pepper Jack's Grill. 10 great locations. You got to stop by tonight.
Are you looking to be part of a winning tradition? The Bellevue University Bruins could be the right fit for you. Whether on the court or on the field, track or course, our student athletes strive and succeed. This year, Bellevue teams and individuals have combined to win 11 conference championships, with 8 teams qualifying for their national tournaments. Plus, nearly 50 student athletes were also named to all conference teams. Find out more about our tradition of excellence at BUBruins.com.
Spring has sprung, so get to Jerry Ryan's and celebrate. They have polos, shorts, sport coats, and golf shirts. Regular fit and trim fit, they have it all. Jerry Ryan offers $50 off any purchase of $250 or more. Spend $500 and get $100 off. If you're hitting the summer golf fundraiser circuit, spend $1,000 and Jerry Ryan will take $200 off your total purchase. Get to 78th and Dodge and bring in spring.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Fresh air, softball, baseball, basketball, grilling burgers, and the warmth of the sun on your brand new deck. It's the finer things in life that make it enjoyable. Forsman's Finest Decks can come build you a deck, put a cover on it, and give your house that facelift that you and it deserves. Head over to forsmansfinest.com to have your dream experience this summer. Forsman's Finest Decks, building the finest decks in Omaha.
Are you dreaming of your business dominating local Google searches, drawing in customers effortlessly? Look no further. I'm Courtney, the Google gal from Business Profile. From verification to boosting reviews, fixing maps, to tackling annoying Google calls, I've got you covered. Your profile sets you apart and ensures you're the top choice for local customers. Visit fixmygbp.com for our $99 special offer. Click fixmygbp.com for more details.
Going Vertical Basketball Academy is the premier sports performance training facility in the Midwest. Working with athletes as young as kindergarten all the way to college and the pros, GVBA offers a variety of packages from individual workouts to group sessions. They also offer elite-level sports performance training for athletes of all sports. Check out the academy at 10700 Sap Brothers Drive in Omaha or at goingverticalomaha.com. That's goingverticalomaha.com.
Now back to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
Hour number 2 of the After Hours radio experience with John and Dan, minus a Jimmy Allen here on a Wednesday. If you missed anything so far, check it out. SoundCloud.com/After Hours 1620. Catch our discussion about the ACC, Gio Reyna, PGA Championship. This hour is brought to you by Bellevue University. If you got educational needs, if you want an advanced degree, an associate's, a bachelor's, a master's, Bellevue University is your place to go. Get your degree your way, online, in person, or anything in between. However you want to do it, Bellevue University can make it happen. Check out bellevue.edu. Dan Campion has a social media soundbite.
Yes, I do. And let's just listen to it and then we'll react a little bit.
That's what we do.
Yeah, that's how this segment works. I feel like I have to explain it to myself every night, but I know what's going on.
They approve that.
So if you don't know who that was, neither did I until about 2 seconds ago.
I don't know who that was.
That was a gentleman by the name of Justin Pennick. He is a lifetime Giants fan. He is part of the John Boy Media Network,
Okay.
which Shout out to John Boy. Media Network now. Amazing for him. But he is a lifelong Giants fan, and it is true. I'm not playing the sound because it's not really that breaking of news, and no one should really give a crap. But the New York Giants have been selected for Hard Knocks.
Okay.
Not that Hard Knocks, John. Hard Knocks in the offseason.
Yeah.
Yes, starting July 2nd.
Uh-huh.
Hard Knocks is going to follow around the Giants front office for the most exciting thing that we've ever seen in football, not practice, but how the front office operates in the offseason. Have we gotten to a point as a society where, like, thanks HBO, thanks cable television, just hook us up to the feed bag and we'll eat whatever you want to give us? If any of you fans out there have listened to this show for long enough, you know that I love Hard Knocks. I love hearing about players. I love hearing about their stories.
Yeah.
I love seeing how their season progresses. And I love seeing the way that coaches coach and the way that people get inspired by other people. Hard Knocks regular in training camp, great idea. Hard Knocks in season, I was able to buy that because you were giving me interesting stories and interesting people.
All right.
If not on some of the worst teams in football at one point. Not you, Miami Dolphins. You were good last year. I just can't wrap my head around why anyone would want Hard Knocks off season. And not just Hard Knocks off season, Hard Knocks off season with the New York Giants. At least give me a club that's interesting.
Yeah.
Someone who made like a fun draft pick.
Here, this is my take exactly. I'm so bored already. The Giants are possibly the most boring franchise in the league to me. Like, they are just unbelievably uninteresting. Like, it's a club with zero personality that never wins anything. Like, since Eli Manning retired, it has been just blech. They're not bad enough to make fun of, and they're not good enough to care about. Like, I want to go to sleep right now. Like, I'm so bored by this announcement, and I saw it earlier today, and I was just like, "What? Like,
yeah,
who again?"
Exactly. They're a team that literally just rides off the fact that they're like, we're New York's football team. And then they have little brother, the Jets, who pop out behind them and go, we're here too. Come on, guys.
No, this is incredibly boring. And I think Hard Knocks peaked about 10 years ago for me. My interest in Hard Knocks peaked about the time they had the Jets on.
Okay.
And after that, I've been like, I'm not doing anything. I'll turn on Hard Knocks, you know? But it was not appointment television by any means. Like, before that, like, early Hard Knocks, I was in front of the TV on Sunday night when it came on, ready to punch the HBO number on the remote and watch it.
Yeah.
Anymore, I'm just like, well, I'm not doing anything. I'll watch Hard Knocks.
And see, for me, I got pulled into it a lot later just because that's the nature of the game.
Because you're a lot younger than me?
Yes, that too. But like, it was really good when they were like, all right, we have the Browns. You know, Baker Mayfield is the first pick. We got the interesting head coaching situation. You got a couple guys on that team who are, you know, going to be fun, going to be interesting to follow around. And then like a year or two later, it was like, well, it's COVID, so we really can't do anything too fun or innovative. So let's do the Rams and the Chargers.
Yeah, it was like 2013, 2014, 2015. I don't remember all the teams that were on, but I do remember the years because I can remember like where I was working and what I was doing and making sure that I was in front of the TV on Sunday night to watch Hard Knocks.
Yeah. I don't know.
But the Giants. And
yeah.
I'm like, apologies if you're a Giants fan, but good night. Do Giants fans even want to see this?
I would hope not. It's just like, and especially for a team where you are in such a large market, you do have what can only be described as a wildly fickle fan base. Like, all you're going to hear from your fan base after going on this program is, wow, now we actually have seen how inept you are.
So I guess, like 13, the Bengals, I was really into that one. 14, the Falcons, I was into. 15, the Texans, I was lukewarm on. I did get really into 2016 when they had the Rams. And then it was kind of like 17 when the Bucks were on. I was like, I don't really care. And then you had the Browns, and I didn't really care. And then the Raiders, and I didn't really care. So.
Ooh, and see, the Raiders season was good. But that was more because of the specific personalities that they had on. And that was also probably about the same time that I was rising within like my use of Twitter, because I was getting started over here at that point.
09 and 10 when they had the Bengals and Jets, I was very into those.
Yeah.
But
nothing's ever going to beat the Baltimore Ravens season when they had that
off-season Hard Knocks with the Giants front office. Just, I'll watch anything else. I'll watch the NBA. You know,
oh, those are strong. Those are strong words coming from you.
Yeah, not interested in the least. Even the golden pipes of Leif Schreiber cannot attract me to this thing. That's your social media soundbite for the night. Apparently the Giants are going to be on an off-season edition of the Hard Knocks. You interested in that? I doubt it. We're going to get to a break. We're going to come back with our buy or sell questions. Dan's got them all drawn up. He's dotted the I's and crossed the T's. And he'll ask them next here on After Hours. Hey, everybody. John here for Forsman's Finest Decks. Did you get caught in the little rain pop we had this afternoon? Well, if you had a cover on your deck, you wouldn't have had to. You could have been sitting out there watching the thunder and lightning and catching the rain coming down. It's always fun to sit out and watch the storm, isn't it? Well, if you don't have a cover on your deck, it makes it kind of difficult to be out there. And if you would like to have a cover on your deck, if you want your outdoor space to pop, if you want a great place to entertain this summer, then you need to call Forsman's Finest Decks. They will come out, they'll give you an assessment, and they will put a cover on your outdoor space, and it'll give you that little something that you've been missing. So check out forsmansfinest.com. Get them to come out and build you your dream outdoor space this spring. It's Forsman's Finest Decks, building the finest decks in Omaha.
Graduation season will be here before you know it, and you can have the 402 barbecue truck come to your party or event you're hosting. Stop by the Brick and Mortar on 84th and Spring and try the food. Then, when you get the craving, come back and book the food truck to be the caterer for your event. Graduations, company outings, community events, they do it all. 402 Barbecue at 3027 South 84th Street. Stop by today and grab lunch. Spring has sprung, so get to Jerry Ryan's and celebrate. They have polos, shorts, sport coats, and golf shirts. Regular fit and trim fit, they have it all. Jerry Ryan offers $50 off any purchase of $250 or more. Spend $500 and get $100 off. If you're hitting the summer golf fundraiser circuit, spend $1,000 and Jerry Ryan will take $200 off your total purchase. Get to 78th and Dodge and bring in spring.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Fresh air, softball, baseball, basketball, grilling burgers, and the warmth of the sun on your brand new deck. It's the finer things in life that make it enjoyable. Forsman's Finest Decks can come build you a deck, put a cover on it, and give your house that facelift that you and it deserves. Head over to forsmansfinest.com to have your dream experience this summer. Forsman's Finest Decks, building the finest decks in Omaha.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Roofing. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Roofing come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
Henry Dorley Zoo has done it again, Omaha. Omaha Zoo isn't just #1 in your heart. It's also back to being ranked America's #1 zoo. Chesterman Coca-Cola and Hy-Vee are celebrating being #1 from April till May. Stop by any local Hy-Vee and get a 6-pack of your favorite Coke products in mini cans, just 3 for $11. From now through May 14th, Henry Dorley Zoo is #1, and you can be too with Chesterman Coca-Cola and Hy-Vee this April.
Ready to make a positive impact in a young boy's life? Join Big Brothers Big Sisters of the Midlands and become a mentor where you are matched up with a boy in the greater Omaha area. Over 50 boys are waiting for someone like you to guide and inspire them. Visit mentoromaha.org and sign up to make a difference in a boy's life. Don't wait. Make a lasting impact today.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.
After hours on 1620 The Zone. John Schreiner, Dan Campanen. Jimmy Allen's at home with his new baby girl. Mom and baby are all healthy. Everything's good. In case you were wondering. We're all healthy and good here, too.
Indeed, we are.
And it's time to buy or sell. Dan Campanen, do you have questions?
Yes, I do. I
All
only
right.
have 3 tonight, so that
That's
we can
fine.
get through this
That's
kind of
cool.
fast.
I'm good.
All right. So, well,
Dan's pulling up his questions.
they're taking a little bit of time. So we're about a quarter of the way through the MLB season, and
Yeah.
here is where we stand.
Okay.
Orioles, Guardians, and Seattle Mariners on the AL side of things. Philadelphia Phillies, Milwaukee Brewers, and LA Dodgers on the NL side of things. Buy or sell, one of these teams will take the World Series title.
The Phillies have the best record right now, correct? They've won 30 games. I think nobody else has won 30.
Yep, they are the only team at 30.
Sell. I think Atlanta's going to do it. I know they're behind the Phils right now, but give me the Braves. So I'm selling that. And even though baseball season's been over for a couple of weeks, I still think the Braves are going to win it. You?
Me personally, you know how much I love a dark horse.
They don't call you Danny Dark Horse for nothing.
I think the Baltimore Orioles have a pretty good chance of winning it. I like
the O's.
I like the youth. I like the kids. Not in that way, but they're all younger than I am.
Adley Rutschman.
And I think that Baltimore can probably put together a pretty good run all the way through the ALCS. The World Series will be what stands in their way. And if they get a cupcake team not named the Los Angeles Dodgers, the Atlanta Braves, or the Philadelphia Phillies, I think they could do it.
Okay.
But if they have to face the Braves or the Phillies, they're going down.
Yeah, I don't know. Braves seem like the best team. I don't pay a ton of attention to baseball. It's sort of in the periphery, but it seems like the Braves are really good.
Yeah, to be fair, the Braves have one of the higher run differentials right now at the top of their league. They are a plus 54. The only people who are even slightly better are the Yankees, who have played a bunch of cupcakes so far. The Phillies, obviously, and then the Los Angeles Dodgers, who have the highest run differential in all of Major League Baseball right now. So it will be interesting. Atlanta is a very good team. I can throw no salt on your pick and no dirt into their grave because they will rise again no matter what, because they are the Atlanta Braves. They are inevitable.
All right.
Moving on.
Next up.
Hometown favorite Baylor Shireman is out at the NBA Combine right now. Yes, I am making you talk about the NBA tonight, but sort of college related.
He's
so
not in the
we
NBA
can count
yet,
it.
so
Yeah, and he, though, is putting on a show. Baylor is ranked 39th in the ESPN Top 100 right now, and last night he put up 17, 8, and 3 in the scrimmage. Buy or sell, Baylor will be a first-round pick.
Buy. I think he's going to get. He's going to sneak into the back into that first round just because of what he can do as a shooter. Everybody, like, the game of basketball is about how many shooters you can put on the floor at this point in time, and he's a guy who's got some size who can shoot the ball. I think he's going to be a late first-round pick. What do you think?
I think he's going to be a late first-round pick because, you know, he got some of that shine that he truly deserved from last year and this year kind of rolled into the end of the season, which was very good to see. He made a lot of people's, you know, NBA watch lists and whatnot. And, you know, those folks around here, like you and I and Jimmy Allen and John Bishop, who've been watching Baylor for years, have said, well, we knew about this kid. He was obviously going to be good. And it's nice to see that NBA scouts are finally getting, you know, their proper due and proper look at him. And in the ESPN Plus article that was all, you know, about who's been standing out at the combine and let's put his, you know, Baylor below all of our thoughts on Bronny James, which
who's only 6'1",
who's only 6'1" and a half.
Well,
like
he's
175
been listed on
pounds.
every roster at 6'4" for basically his entire life.
Well, if I remember correctly, John, you wear shoes when you play basketball.
Man, it doesn't give you 4 inches, my man.
It can. How do you think I'm 6'3"? I'm actually only 4'12".
Well,
but yeah, I do think Baylor will work his way into a first-round pick, and he's doing it the old-fashioned way, which I can appreciate.
Yep.
Through hard work and blowing the doors off of people's expectations of him.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a great story. Coming from the Summit League to Creighton and now potential first-round pick. That's a cool story.
Yeah.
Especially for a kid from Aurora, Nebraska.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's going to be fun.
Got one more?
Yeah, real quick, though, bonus buy or sell question on
Bonus
that.
buy or sell.
If Baylor Shireman does go directly to the NBA in the first round, will he ever have to buy a beer in the state of Nebraska again?
Well, he played for Creighton, so Nebraska fans aren't going to like him.
Will he ever have to buy a beer in Aurora again?
No, he probably doesn't already.
I would hope not. All right, last one. Sex!
What?
Now that I have your attention, the Olympic Village will once again have anti-sex beds to protect the athletes from themselves. Buy or sell, this is going too far when it comes to athlete safety.
Yeah, it's probably a little far. I'll buy it. These are adults, right? I realize that you can get in some bad situations with unwanted advances and things of that nature. But hey, if they want to get down with the horizontal mambo at the Olympic Village, why not let them? I mean, what's the big deal?
You got that right, John, because I am buying. It is too much. They are adults who can control themselves.
Or maybe they can't. Who knows?
And to be fair, they are, if they are single, they are probably the hottest and the fittest that they are ever going to be in their entire lives. And if we are going to limit how much sex hot and fit people can have, what hope is there for the rest of us?
What does that mean? Like, I don't know, man. Like what does an anti-sex bed actually consist of?
So
how do you achieve this?
So it's basically made out of what amounts to slightly stronger than cardboard. And it is so
have they heard of a floor?
When was the last time? So was it Tokyo? Was the last Summer Olympics?
You could have fooled me. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was Tokyo because they built these for Tokyo as well. And there was a lot of, you know, hearsay about it. And obviously social media is a thing. And so their whole thing is if you have two people of generally average weight sleeping on these beds,
It'll break.
They will break from vigorous movement. So
Okay, but like if your bed breaks, do they just not give you a new one? Like
they do.
So what's the point? I don't understand how this works.
It's supposed to be, I think, partially if you fall, you're going to injure yourself probably, right?
I mean, maybe. How high is the bed?
I mean, it's a normal height bed.
No, this is dumb. This is
But-
really stupid.
So the funny thing is last Olympics, they like pushed this out and they were like, these are anti-sex beds. They're, made in this certain way so that if you do a lot of vigorous movement and like have two people on them, they will crumble. They will crumble. So a couple Olympic teams who were very social media savvy decided to say, okay, prove it.
Let's test it.
And there were like, I want to say it was some team of field athletes, the jumpers,
Yeah.
got on, had one person on the bed, like kind of jumping up and down. And then it cuts to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people jumping on the bed. And they weren't like cracking at all. Granted, they were only probably jumping maybe about this far off the bed, but still, given your rigid parameters, that should disintegrate that bed.
Stupid. It's so dumb.
And
'Cause
nothing happened.
If you break the bed, it's like, well, you only get one. So now where are you going to sleep? No, they're not doing that to Olympic athletes. Come on.
No, they're not. And I also would like to throw one more caveat in there. Paris, you are the horniest city in the world.
Well, that may be true.
Why are you doing this? Tokyo, I could understand. Paris, you make no sense.
Oh man, this is dumb. This is real dumb.
It's just dumb from all aspects. It's like, why are you bothering?
Because
they will find a way.
Listen, life finds a way. That's exactly where I was going. Jurassic Park. That's it for buy or sell. Thank you very much, Dan Campion, for the questions. When we come back, we've got NFL schedule news.
What?
The Los Angeles Chargers did something incredibly funny that we're going to talk about.
Hey everyone, Dan Campion here for Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear. It's wedding season, so get out to Jerry Ryan for the premier suit buying experience in the Midwest. They can fit you for your big day, your brother's big day, or maybe even one of those weirdos and your dog is getting married. But for whatever reason, Jerry Ryan has you covered. Jerry Ryan, centrally located on 78th and Dodge, has been dressing Omaha for over 50 years.
Your Omaha area forecast from the Godfather's Pizza Weather Center and KETV News Watch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
A flash flood warning early this evening as torrential rain came down, 1 to 3 inches of rain across parts of the Omaha metro. Later tonight, skies clear up, low temperature drop back in the lower 50s, and a beautiful sunny day on the way for Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Bill Ranby from KETV News Watch 7.
The dream of playing the sport you love may be closer than you think. The Bellevue University Athletic Department proudly sports the best scholarship funding among NAIA programs in the state. To compete with the best, we need to recruit the best. All incoming freshmen earn a $5,000 scholarship when they enroll at Bellevue University. Learn more by looking us up at BUBruins.com and reach out to your future coach today.
Graduation season will be here before you know it, and you can have the 402 barbecue truck come to your party or event you're hosting. Stop by the brick and mortar on 84th and Spring and try the food. Then, when you get the craving, come back and book the food truck to be the caterer for your event. Graduations, company outings, community events, they do it all. 402 Barbecue at 3027 South 84th Street. Stop by today and grab lunch.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Roofing. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Roofing come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
Going Vertical Basketball Academy is the premier sports performance training facility in the Midwest. Working with athletes as young as kindergarten all the way to college and the pros, GVBA offers a variety of packages from individual workouts to group sessions. They also offer elite-level sports performance training for athletes of all sports. Check out the academy at 10700 Sap Brothers Drive in Omaha or at goingverticalomaha.com. That's goingverticalomaha.com.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to speak?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 10 minutes a day.
10 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun.
Fun isn't hard.
Right. Babbel's interactive lessons, podcasts, games, and more make languages fun and engaging. You might even forget you're learning. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life. Babbel teaches language skills you'll actually use, about travel, business, relationships, and more. You'll learn what matters most to you. Plus, Babbel's lessons are designed to get you having real conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Just 3 weeks? Even better.
Since Babbel's lessons are voiced by real native speakers, you'll get pronunciation just right and be able to carry on conversations with confidence.
Learning a language with Babbel doesn't take long.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Get Babbel. It starts here. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
You are listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
All right, getting close to the end of After Hours here on a Wednesday. We do want to get to a little bit of the NFL schedule release news. The first thing I have to say is that I think having an entire program to release the schedule is really dumb. It's not interesting enough to me for you to have an entire hour-long show about it. If you want to break down some like if you want to talk about scheduling things and you want to talk about how this team may have a tougher schedule, this team, that's fine. But just release the schedule. Like, just give it to us. Then do your analysis if you want. But don't have a show where you like, and now it's time to see the schedule for the Chicago Bears. Like, no, it's not the NCAA tournament selection show. It's not that. So just do something else.
From that regard, it's just too much.
It's boring.
It's unnecessary. I will wholeheartedly always agree with you on the fact that the NFL schedule reveal party is one of the least likely parties that I would ever attend, because I don't think it really serves a purpose.
No, it doesn't.
It's like, okay, cool. I get to see who my team is going to play in 4 months. Yeah. I would more than happily love to figure this out later on. And by later on, I mean literally 3 months later than today.
I don't mind you analyzing a team's schedule and telling me whether you think it's harder or easier than someone else's. I'm fine. Do that. But the whole we're going to do a delayed suspenseful release. Like, it's just a schedule, man. Like, we don't need the fake suspense. Chill.
Besides, I already know. Week 1, Packers are playing in Brazil. I don't need to know more than that at this point.
You're not wrong. So the thing that was really funny that popped up on Twitter is the Los Angeles Chargers released their schedule in a thread comparing their opponents to Pop-Tarts. And this, Chargers Twitter is really good. Like, they do a good job on social media of being funny. And this is great. So they opened with the Cardinals, and they tweeted out a picture of Kyler Murray next to Pop-Tarts Bites. Right?
It's good.
A little bit later down the line, they tweeted out a picture of Joe Burrow next to Skyline Chili Pop-Tarts.
Delicious.
Which I laughed at. They threw some major shade at Denver. A picture of the Denver Broncos next to Great Value Frosted Brown Sugar Cinnamon Toaster Pastries. That is pretty good. I like that. Then they tweeted out a picture of Devontae Adams on the Raiders and garbage flavored Pop-Tarts. It's like, oh, that is major shade. The Patriots, a picture of, is it Drake May? I think it's Drake May in a Patriots uniform and an empty box of Pop-Tarts. A picture of the Steelers, rust flavored Pop-Tarts.
Delicious. Makes sense.
And then the Tennessee Titans and Jack Daniels flavored Pop-Tarts. This is so good. Like, bravo, LA Chargers, because this was hilarious. And I got great enjoyment out of reading that thread. Go check out at Chargers on Twitter. You will laugh. It's very good. Very well done. The other big thing from schedule release day is that, hey, Netflix has entered the chat. And they've got 2 games on Christmas Day.
No.
Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens, Texans, right? Thanks. I hate it.
Thank you. Me too. Christmas Day is made for NBA basketball.
No.
Christmas Day is made for family.
Yes. I
forgot what your stance was, John. My apologies.
Dan, I am not the average sports fan. Sports is my job and my life. Like, in essence, that's what it is. And I came up with a list of 3 days in the calendar when I absolutely do not want sports. There are 3 days when I don't want to worry about any sporting events.
They are.
Number 1 on that list is Christmas.
Okay.
I want to spend the day like watching my son open presents, like putting together all of his stuff. And then we do a Christmas dinner. Then we watch a Christmas movie and we just hang out. Like, we stay in our pajamas all day. Like, I don't want to do anything on Christmas. And for my job, I have to pay attention to sports. And I don't want to have to pay attention to anything on Christmas. This is a terrible idea and I hate it. Don't put the NFL on Christmas Day. Don't do this. But they already did it.
They did. And in defense, Roger Goodell is really just trying to take over the holidays and make football like an everyday thing, basically.
I wish there weren't NFL games on Thursday. Like, Thursday was college football night.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we got a good college football game on Thursdays.
I mean, is there really NFL football on Thursdays anymore, though? With having to watch it on Prime?
But because the NFL schedules games on Thursday, the other networks will not put good college games on Thursday because they know it won't get ratings against the NFL. So we don't get good Thursday night college football games anymore. And I don't like it. The other 2 days, I don't want sports.
Yeah, I want to hear those.
New Year's Eve, I don't want sports on New Year's Eve. I want to go out with my wife. I want to have a few drinks. I want to come back to the house with some friends, do the countdown, shoot the little confetti poppers, have some champagne, and go to bed. I don't want to have to worry about watching a college football game or an NFL game on New Year's Eve. I don't want to.
Not even when they had the great song with "This New Year's Eve will be sublime, watching college football on TV."
Nope. Don't want to watch it. I don't want sports on New Year's Eve. The other day is 4th of July.
Yeah.
I want fireworks. And generally, I mean, there's usually some baseball on 4th of July, but there's not much else. Occasionally you get
Like a NASCAR race?
soccer tournament might be going on in the summer occasionally, but it's fairly rare. Those usually go June or August. So you don't have to worry so much about sports on 4th of July. I think that's the one day that, at least I don't, because I don't really watch baseball all that much until the postseason. So, yeah, my 3 days when I don't want sports, 2 of them have been ruined.
Yeah.
And now we've got NFL on Christmas Day. Thank you, Netflix.
And also, this whole Netflix thing, it's just too weird. I don't understand why Netflix is now getting NFL games. Like, you've got
Netflix is entering into the live broadcast market. Like, they're doing it. They're doing this whole Netflix is a joke festival with live events. They did the Screen Actors Guild Awards. They are entering themselves into the conversation for live events. They're just doing it.
You know what? I'm tired of it. And I'm sorry, John, but let me freak out for just a minute. Netflix, you are great. You are wonderful. You have lovely original programming. You are the home of comedy right now, and we understand that. Congratulations. You did a couple of live events, and they went well. Good for you. You know what I don't want you taking?
Sports.
No. Things that are supposed to traditionally be for people who actually care about them. The Mark Twain Prize. You know the Mark Twain Prize?
I know the Mark Twain Prize, yeah.
Good. It was given this year to Kevin Hart. The event was done on Netflix. You know where that's supposed to be at? You know who that's for? People who give a crap about actual comedy, and it's supposed to be on PBS.
Yeah.
Also, I'm starting to lose my voice again.
All right.
But it's supposed to be on PBS. That was their thing. They produced wonderful specials with it. And with the beauty of public broadcasting, you're just going to let Netflix kill that. And also, you don't give that award to Kevin Hart. But that's a whole nother thing. This is a sports show.
All right. We got to take our last break. Then we'll come back and give you our bets of the night. Those are my thoughts on the NFL schedule. If you've got them, reach out on Twitter at AfterHours1620 at John Schreiner. We don't have time to take your call, but if you want to call in tomorrow, I'll take your calls on the NFL schedule. It's After Hours on 1620 The Zone. Hey, if your business needs help with social media marketing, or maybe you need a new website, or maybe you need a website at all, or you're trying to get into some online advertising and you're not sure how to navigate that whole situation, Pixel Fire Marketing is here to help you. They've got social media experts that'll help ignite your social media presence and entice your ideal client to engage with your brand and help you bring in that new business. Check out pixelfiremarketing.com for more information.
Are you ready to elevate your taste buds? Look no further than Pepper Jacks, your go-to destination for bold flavors and endless choices. Dive into their mouth-watering rice bowls, crisp salads, hearty Phillies, savory burritos, and loaded nachos. What sets them apart? Complete customization. Choose your base, proteins, toppings, and sauces for a personalized culinary adventure. At Pepper Jacks, it's not just a meal, it's an experience. Unleash your cravings and savor the bold tastes at Pepper Jacks today. Life's too short for bland. Spice it up at Pepper Jacks.
When you shop local, you help strengthen our community. So if you need roof repair, gutters, siding, even windows, call local Pyramid Roofing. They're the #1 roofer in Omaha for more than a dozen years. Let Pyramid Roofing come and give you a free estimate. Give them a call at 402-502-9300. That's 402-502-9300. Or visit them online at
PyramidRoof.com. Never settle for less.
Fresh air, softball, baseball, basketball, grilling burgers, and the warmth of the sun on your brand new deck. It's the finer things in life that make it enjoyable. Forsman's Finest Decks can come build you a deck, put a cover on it, and give your house that facelift that you and it deserves. Head over to forsmansfinest.com to have your dream experience this summer. Forsman's Finest Decks, building the finest decks in Omaha.
When you think Caddyshack, you think about an unforgettable dining experience. Stop in for Meatloaf Monday for just $10.95. Tuesdays are all about the happy with dollar drinks during all-day happy hour. Celebrate a Wing Wednesday with After Hours. Thursday is Spaghetti Night for $10.95 a plate. Or grab some lunch on Fridays with the $12.95 hot beef sandwich. Caddyshack. 2 great locations off of 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. The official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
Start your engines. Joe's Indoor Karting in Council Bluffs is off the charts crazy. Joe's Karting is fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping, wheel-to-wheel racing action at over 40 miles per hour. The only speed restriction on these karts is how good you are. Joe's Karting is located just a couple of blocks north of Bass Pro Shop and directly east of AMC Theater in Council Bluffs, Iowa. Go watch a movie. Come race at Joe's. Planning a bachelor party, graduation party, or just a night out with friends? Go to Joe's. Remember, Joe's Karting is your place to race.
Do you have any idea how much of your personal information is sold to unscrupulous people online? If you knew, you'd be shocked. But JoinDeleteMe.com can help you take back control of your data. Corporations called data brokers make big money compiling important information about you and then selling it to anyone and everyone. Scammers, potential stalkers, identity thieves, and worse, people who can ruin your life. But JoinDeleteMe.com scours the web, removes the personal information you don't want seen, and prevents data brokers from selling the information which could hurt you, your family, or your reputation. You'll get regular reports detailing what they found and removed. And JoinDeleteMe.com isn't AI. It's real people working to keep your data safe. Keep your private life private with JoinDeleteMe.com. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to JoinDeleteMe.com/radio and use promo code RADIO at checkout. Go to joindeleteme.com/radio and enter code radio at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/radio, code radio.
You're listening to After Hours with Jimmy Allen on 1620 The Zone.
All right. Winding it up here on a Wednesday. Closing time on After Hours. We're going to give you our best bets before we get out of here. Dano, what do you got for me tonight?
Well. We've got a pretty good one going down in Dallas tonight.
Yes, sir.
Or actually, it's in Oklahoma City. But the Oklahoma City Thunder, Dallas Mavericks are taking each other on. In honor of Jimmy not being here and in honor of my heart being bigger than my brain sometimes, give me the Dallas Mavericks on the money line.
All right. I'm going with my standard NHL pick tomorrow. And I just have this weird feeling that the Hurricanes are on a roll and they're going to force Game 7. So give me Carolina minus 165 on the money line, 6 p.m. tomorrow on TNT. Hurricanes and Rangers. I think that's going to go 7 and go back to New York. And that will be a lot of fun if that comes true. So that's my pick. I got the Canes tomorrow minus 165 at home. And that's all the time we have for tonight here on After Hours. Dan, thank you very much, my man.
You are welcome.
Enjoyed the conversation tonight. If you enjoyed the conversation tonight, or if you missed any of it, you can go back and re-listen to any of it on SoundCloud. That's soundcloud.com/After Hours. The show tonight brought to you by Pyramid Roofing. It's getting a little drafty in your house. You're worried about is my AC actually being efficient? My windows leaking? Is that cold air escaping? You're worried about any of that? Maybe you're worried about your roof. Check out pyramidroof.com. Get yourself a free estimate. We'll be back tomorrow with another show here on the After Hours radio program. But for today, we say goodbye and get your bouquet ready on National Bring Flowers to Someone Day. Good night, everybody.
Are you looking to be part of a winning tradition? The Bellevue University Bruins could be the right fit for you. Whether on the court or on the field, track or course, our student athletes strive and succeed. This year, Bellevue teams and individuals have combined to win 11 conference championships, with 8 teams qualifying for their national tournaments. Plus, nearly 50 student athletes were also named to all conference teams. Find out more about our tradition of excellence at BUBruins.com.
Are you ready to elevate your taste buds? Look no further than Pepper Jacks, your go-to destination for bold flavors and endless choices. Dive into their mouth-watering rice bowls, crisp salads, hearty Phillies, savory burritos, and loaded nachos. What sets them apart? Complete customization. Choose your base, proteins, toppings, and sauces for a personalized culinary adventure. At Pepper Jacks, it's not just a meal, it's an experience. Unleash your cravings and savor the bold tastes at Pepper Jacks today. Life's too short for bland. Spice it up at Pepper Jacks.
Spring has sprung, so get to Jerry Ryan's and celebrate. They have polos, shorts, sport coats, and golf shirts. Regular fit and trim fit, they have it all. Jerry Ryan offers $50 off any purchase of $250 or more. Spend $500 and get $100 off. If you're hitting the summer golf fundraiser circuit, spend $1,000 and Jerry Ryan will take $200 off your total purchase. Get to 78th and Dodge and bring in spring.
At Jerry Ryan's, we bring out the best in you.
Hey fellas, listen up. Are you or someone you know ready to make that big day unforgettable? Look no further than Lovebound Media, your go-to for capturing the epic moments of your wedding. With Lovebound, it's not just about photos and videos, it's about creating a story that screams you. From the jaw-dropping shots to the heart-pounding video edits, they'll make sure your wedding day is nothing short of legendary. So if you're ready to say I do to memories that'll make you feel like a king, hit them up at Lovebound Media today. Let's make magic happen.
When you think Caddyshack, you think about an unforgettable dining experience. Stop in for Meatloaf Monday for just $10.95. Tuesdays are all about the happy with dollar drinks during all-day happy hour. Celebrate a Wing Wednesday with After Hours. Thursday is Spaghetti Night for $10.95 a plate. Or grab some lunch on Fridays with the $12.95 hot beef sandwich. Caddyshack. 2 great locations off of 117th and Blondo and 180th and Harrison. The official watering hole of After Hours on 1620 The Zone.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no service fees. Shop ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone.